Welcome to the Triple P podcast, Preds, Pucks, Pinoys, hosted by Justin Bradford and Matt Best.
Hello and welcome to Triple P, Preds, Pucks, Pinoys, Justin Bradford, Matt Best, and all of our friends behind us, which for Matt is jerseys and pops, and for me it's pretty much all pops and bobbleheads.
Yeah, we're not totally alone in this life. Just kind of. I mean, you can't be alone. You just had your birthday.
True, and I was at Disneyland.
Yeah, I was gonna say
last weekend.
You want to talk about that now, or you want to talk about it later?
We'll talk about that later. Let's address the non-elephant in the room. The Preds are not off to a great start of the season.
That was nice.
But here's the funny thing: they're fifth in the division. Because, let's see, the Avalanche started off 1-3, Coyotes 0-3, 0-3-1, and the Blackhawks are 0-4-1.
Yeah.
A big oof to the start of the season for the Central Division. But the Nashville Predators, this is one thing. I know people are getting frustrated when they see so many things, but this is, I want to say what I expected because I want to say, I was right or anything like that. But this is what it's going to be, is a lot of getting really close and some growing pains that they could be competitive in a game. There'll be some really good things. There'll be some things that'll frustrate the absolute shit out of you. You're like, if you just would have done this, you probably would have won the game type of actions. And that's what I saw against the Rangers, was because the penalty kill, even though they shouldn't have been putting themselves in trouble, the penalty kill looked great. I mean, there are some good active sticks. There was a time where it seemed like the Predators had more offensive possession than the Rangers did on the PK. Colton Sissons was great on the PK, so that looked good. Philip Tomasino, we'll talk about him more later. I mean, just great presence by him just to bank it off Shesterkin and to get his first NHL goal. So it was good for the kid to get that. Some bright spots there. Then when you're down and you're in late in the third period and you pull the goalie and you have limited time, obviously, to try to tie the damn game, and you dump and chase the goddamn puck. What are you doing? You have the extra attacker carry that bitch in. What is going on to where you feel like, well, you know what? There's only 2 minutes left in the game, but we should totally just dump and chase and, make it a 50-50 chance that we regain possession. Oh, that's right. Our net's empty. Ha, ha, ha. That kind of shit. That kind of bullshit.
It baffles me, to say the least. If you look at the shift charts for the last 3 minutes of the hockey game, Matthias Ekholm, Matt Duchene, Philip Forsberg, Ryan Johansson minus 10 seconds, Mikael Granlund, Roman Josi were the only players out there. So that to me means that John Hynes does not trust his other players to be out there for a critical scenario. Now, what I find the most bullshit among all bullshit things is how Mr. Tolvanen only had 2 shifts in the third period, one lasting exactly 20 seconds, the other one lasting 29 seconds. I don't understand how Tolvanen is not your guy. I mean, you saw the chemistry with Forsberg last year on the power play, where if Tolvanen can set up by the circle, he has his own little wheelhouse there. Or you saw early in the season when he can bat the puck down in the slot and score. He has offensive upside. That's not breaking news to anybody. It blows my mind that he wasn't out there and that John Hynes decided to just tax his top guys for 3 minutes straight. You've played hockey. I've played hockey. Being out there for more than 30 to 45 seconds when you're giving it all you got, it's hard. And we're not professional athletes by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm really out of shape.
But can you imagine 3 minutes out there busting your ass as hard as you can? It doesn't make any sense. To me, that was one of the biggest coaching mishaps that I've seen from John Hynes in his tenure.
Yeah, that's what I did not understand there too, because you do have some other offensive talent. You know what? Throw them out there. Throw them out there.
Mix it.
What's the worst that could happen aside from losing, by giving young guys a chance when the pressure is on and the stress is high to show up and put the team on their back and win the game? How else are you going to build confidence in young players without putting them in stressful situations when they have to learn how to come from behind, be a little more defensively responsible, but really cheat in as well to try to score when you have an empty net? Those are the situations that you just can't practice. You could do it in practice, but the energy is not the same. The adrenaline's not the same. Nothing is the same. The only way that they're going to get opportunities to do that is to do it during a game. And they've already had to pull their goalie multiple times this season to try to come back. Give them an opportunity. You have Philip Tomasino, who looked good all game. It wasn't like it was just, he scored a goal and then didn't look good the rest of the game. He was buzzing. He really was buzzing. He had some good opportunities overall in that game against the Rangers. So it wasn't like it was a one-off, he scored his first NHL goal and then was invisible the rest of the game. That was not the case. So you put him out there when the kid obviously has a lot of confidence and has the energy to do that. Put him out there and see what's going to happen. I mean, that right there is the really frustrating thing, is that if they lose, then I would rather them lose knowing that young guys are getting opportunities to prove themselves,
or
than veterans not being able to pop it in. And that's going to happen too, but just give them opportunities.
I wouldn't have had a problem at the end of the third period if they decided for the last minute and a half, maybe minute to minute and a half, that they were going to run Forsberg, Johansson, Duchesne, Granlund, like right into the ground. Sure. But for that other minute and a half towards the end of the game where you have complete puck control, you want to mix it up. That's all we're really asking. Also, I feel like John Hynes game scripted this game from the beginning, and he just had it destined to for failure. You look at the lines, or not the lines, you look at the time on ice, and it was the Philip Forsberg, it was the Mikael Granlund, and it was the Matt Duchesne and Ryan Johansson show. And then it was just everybody else had 10 to 13 minutes of time on ice. And I'm just talking about forwards here. Defense actually was managed quite well in terms of minutes, so I won't bitch about that too much. But it just felt like Hynes was like, here are my top guys for the game, and everyone else can go F themselves. And then Tolvanen is just sitting there with 10 minutes time on ice, and it's like 10:02. Makes him the lowest among all forwards, by the way. Tommy Novak, 10:06. I mean, those two guys...
Because they couldn't stay out of the box either.
Yeah,
So, I mean, he would have had at least 3 more shifts if they would have stayed out of the box.
Yeah, and...
At least close to 12 and a half, maybe even 13.
To me, I just don't get, and I've never, stared at a shift chart so much in my life. Why, God love Tanner Jeannot. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him as a player. If you've ever heard us talk, you know that I quite enjoy him. But Nick Cousins, Colton Sissons, and Tanner Jeannot in the middle of the third period should not be taking a bulk of the shifts away from skill guys like Tolvanen, from skill guys like Luke Cunnin. These guys should be out there and at least playing. Yakov Trenin shouldn't be getting shifted late in the third period when you're trying to come back into the game. That's just not how you come back from hockey games. I understand putting Tanner Jeannot out there. Sure, if you want a big body presence, and if that's how you're going to do it, and if you're going to jumble the lines a bit and find a place for him, but if you're going to traditionally slot him in with his other line mates, you're not going to create offense. Nick Cousins does not create offense. Colton Sissons does not generate offense whatsoever. Who can generate offense? How about Philip Tomasino, who created 5 shots of his own and scored the Predators' only goal? How about Tolvanen, who we've seen have a couple really good plays this year and has been a surefire bet on the shot prop game? Because the guy just fires the puck a ton. This game, 1 shot. It just feels like the game script was flipped on its ass from what should be a successful Preds script. The young kids aren't getting a shot, and it's all the old guys that are getting, the leeway to go play their game, which is not what you want to see this season.
No, not at all. So, 4 games in, the Predators are, I'm not surprised where they're at.
No.
I mean, I don't think many people are in terms of expectations that they're probably going to be streaky this season. They're probably going to have a 3-game winning streak at some point, and people are going to get their hopes up, and that's going to be okay. But you're going to see good things happen, and they're probably going to have a losing streak of 3 or 4 games, and it's going to be streaky this year because when you're playing a lot of young guys because they're one of the youngest teams all of a sudden in the NHL, that's going to happen, and that's okay. I would prefer that to happen because it means they're learning. Now, as you spoke to Tanner Jeannot, I did the Predators pregame show at 125 The Game. I'm talking about Tanner Jeannot and how, his game winner was nice against LA, and how we've even talked about it here, how he's usually pretty smart. He doesn't take a lot of penalties. And what does the dude go out and do against Rangers? He takes 2 penalties.
Yeah.
It was a very punchy game from the start, too. Even without Ryan Reeves on the ice, that was a punchy game. It was very curious because it's like they see each other twice a season. They didn't see each other all last season.
I just think that has a lot to do with how the Rangers are this year.
Right.
The Rangers they're not taking shit this year, and they're a lot of fun to watch. Just circling back to what you said about where the Predators are in the standings and things like that. They're exactly who we think they are. They're a team who's going to struggle to score goals, but defensively, they're not terrible. UC Saros has been great this year. Like, great is an understatement. His numbers are going to be good in fantasy hockey. You're not going to get a lot of wins out of him, though. That's the bad part. Now, there's no, like, big stat that we can look at and go, well, this ship is sinking. Like the Coyotes and the Blackhawks, -14, -12 goal differential. Like, that's dog shit. That's very bad. The Avalanche, 6 goal differential, but we know the Avs are the Avs, and they'll be fine at the end of the day. The Jets, 14 goals for, 15 goals against. The Jets are just playing how the Jets usually play. Connor Hellebuck has to be like at an 8 out of 10 in order for that team to flourish. Hellebuck's been at about a 5. He needs to be higher in order for them to do something. Stars are playing their defensive game, 8 goals for, 9 goals against. I think you'll see goals start going that way. And I'm not going to break down the Blues and Wild because they're doing pretty much how I thought they would. The Preds they'll chill for this like third last, second last, dead last position all year long. I think the Coyotes are better than what they seem to be. I think the Blackhawks are. Yeah, I think they are.
Did you see the lineup they put out
last
night, though?
Yeah, but
they tweeted out, time for something different.
I don't think they will be any higher than last or second last in the division, but I don't think they're 14 goal difference bad right now. I think they're slightly better than that. If they continue,
as long as you're still saying
no. If they continue on this pace, they'll have a historically bad year, like in terms of goal differential. I just don't see that being sustainable. The Blackhawks, I think, will be better.
Yes, they will.
The Preds are just kind of up shit's creek right now. They're just, and this is it. This is the growing pain that you have to expect with a young team. Well, a young team.
Well, this is what and how many times have we harped about this? Just acknowledge you're rebuilding, and just call it that. Don't come up with these kitschy terms of competitive rebuild or rebuilding on the fly or anything like that.
Oh no,
because it's still not a full-on rebuild yet. But if they had accepted it was a rebuild, they'd be in a much better position. And I know it's difficult to handle that when it comes to ticket sales and things of that sort, especially when you have the Titans doing really well and Nashville SC doing well and about to open their stadium and everything too. It's everybody's competing for your dollars in Nashville. But for the sake of this organization, I just wish they would acknowledge it instead of trying to still push to the playoffs, making that their goal. The goal this season should be get these young guys a lot of experience and chemistry together, because can you imagine in the future if Tomasino and Tolvanen are on a line together after like a year or two of chemistry building?
They'd be great. Well,
be extremely dangerous.
They'd be, dangerous, I think, is the better way to put it. We don't know how good they'd be.
Right, dangerous. So opportunities.
I've started thinking more and more and more and more, and it's always been like, so
that's
why did they?
too.
Why did they sign Granlund? And all of me is like, if they sign Granlund, they're clearly going in the term of this is a retool, not a rebuild. Then part of me started thinking again, Philip Forsberg might be gone at the end of this season, and your most veteran forward at that point that doesn't make $8 million and is kind of consistent becomes Mr. Granlund.
And that's why he's wearing the A now.
So that's why he's now the insurance policy. That's it. If you're going into next year, and I know we're only a few games in, your game plan has to be lose an $8 million contract. For the love of God, please finally do it. And then build around your other $8 million guy and Granlund and whoever else is left. Like, that, to me, would signal a rebuild. Having one boat anchor and then one kind of good player, then that's your rebuild. Right now, it's a retool. Like, they build it as a retool, and this is a retool based on how John Hynes is either playing his lines as he's been told to do so or the way he's doing it himself. I never know with David Poile. There is no other organization in the NHL that even comes close to puppeteer and puppet. This is it. This is like, if we're going to title an episode, this is it. This is how this team is going to be all year long. We're going to have me and you going, why did John Hynes / David Poile do that? That's going to be the full season unless they pull a rabbit out of their ass.
And that rabbit could be UC Saros. That would be the only thing.
Flew out last year.
That would be the thing, because they would score some timely goals, and then he would have it going for him.
Yeah, that's like it's so much easier for a hot goalie to carry a team than it is for one hot forward to carry a team. You need like the whole line to be hot. You need 2 lines to be hot, because Saros can steal a game, but you saw what happened. Tyler Bertuzzi scored 4 goals in a game, and they still lost. Right? You can't rely on your offense, and when your offense is comprised of 2 guys making $8 million who aren't looking like that this year.
Right,
I feel cheated, though. We had a nice little look at Matt Duchene. He's been looking good, and then he's just disappeared again.
And that's why it's going to be a streaky season for him.
It's
All right. With that line jumbling. My goodness. It's like it's still preseason with them figuring things out, which they did play a lot of prospects in the preseason. I mean, you saw Afanasyev, you saw plenty of Davies, plenty of Tolvanen, Tomasino, guys like that, Novak. But there's a lot of jumbling going on right now. And also, you send Cody Glass down after 2 games.
Oh.
You have now scratched Philippe Myers. Those are the 2 acquisitions. Came in the trade. So they're not playing. And I would obviously rather see Borowiecki and Benning out there than Ben Harper. We all know that.
Yeah, but can we just have one and not 2 of them?
Right. So speaking of that, the first goal by the Rangers was Borowiecki blowing his assignment. Because if you didn't see the highlight, folks, or just to break it down, Mark Borowiecki, him and Benning are backtracking as the plays coming in, the rush is coming in. Borowiecki releases from his position on the left and goes to attack the puck carrier. Well, that leaves a winger wide freaking open. The right winger wide freaking open to come in because Matt Benning couldn't switch in time. Like, you don't switch on the rush. you switch when you're carrying it out, or you switch in the neutral zone, not on the rush back. So I understand what Borowiecki was trying to do, but damn, dude, it left it wide open. So, and Benning tried. He tried to switch, but it was too late, and it was wide open snipe, and it was a soft goal overall let in by Saros too that he would obviously want back. But had there been a defender there, he would have pushed him further to the outside and wouldn't have had as easy of a shot on Saros.
Your third pairing is going to let in shitty goals all year long, though.
Right, but don't blow your assignment.
No, but I mean, every game, a 4th liner, a 3rd liner, or a 3rd pairing defenseman is going to choke away a goal in almost every NHL game, just because whoever's playing the matchup game will have their top line out against, and, well, it happened. I mean, that wasn't the top line that the Rangers had out for that goal, but it was, I think it was their second line. Yeah, it was their second line. Yeah. That is going to happen. It's just like, I don't know. It's going to happen. So, I would rather see Myers out there instead of one of Borowiecki or Benning. That's let
Myers get blasted because he's still at least young.
Dante Fabro didn't look bad.
No, yeah.
He looked pretty good.
He looked good. Yeah. I like Carrier. Carrier was willing to stand up and play the body, not get pushed around. That's what you want to see out of the younger guys, is they're not getting pushed around like what Ellis did against Dallas in the playoffs. So on the forward side, plenty of jumbling going on there. They kept Novak in, scratched Gamaldi, put Tomasino back in, and you moved Trennan up to the second line, was it? And then Cousins down to the fourth line.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I understand making adjustments, but if guys are going to build chemistry, they've got to be able to work together a couple different times, more than just a game, especially young players. Veterans, they're move them where you need to a lot of times because they can learn more quickly. But young guys that have maybe only played one season in pros or 2 seasons of pros or less, like Tomasino, Tolvanen, guys like that are young, that are still adjusting and everything too to the speed of this game, can't be switching up their line mates all the time.
No.
The line jumbling gets me so much. Preseason's one thing, but doing it 4 games into the regular season this much, it's concerning to me.
It would have been fine had there not been so much new blood in these lineups.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and higher talented new blood is what I mean. If you look at a different team that only brings in like 1 or 2 new pieces, but they're veterans in the league, they'll line jumble to start the season, no problem. But like you said, for a season like this, where kind of who gives a shit and just let the kids play, like kind of season, you don't need to be putting X with Y. Just run your lines. You're dedicated to that first line, whatever, sure, do that. Keep Tolvanen and Granlund together, and you can add a part there if you want to. But this weird line strategy with the high minutes for 4 people and then everyone else can go F themselves and play 10 to 13 minutes, that's the thing that irks me the absolute most. Your kids are going to struggle. Tomasino's going to struggle. He's going to go probably 7 or 8 games at one point this year without a point. That's what happens. Trevor Zegras last year went up and down between the AHL and NHL, and this year he still does not look 100% ready, but the Ducks are committed to him because they let him have that experience in the AHL, which is what Tomasino got last year in the AHL, that full season, just playing with all the big boys and the higher talent.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why Philip Tomasino should be getting scratched, and there's no reason why he should be playing less than 14 minutes a night.
Oh, play the damn kid.
Play him.
Play the kid.
I didn't think I'd have to say play Tolvanen this year at all.
Play him.
Play him. Those two are the only two, honest to God, that I care about getting this ice time that we're harping about consistently for these kids. It's these two basically the whole time. This is the next step for the franchise. These are
Speaking
the
of
faces.
the kids. Speaking of the kids, Igor Afanasyev, first North American goal.
Good for him. It's only a matter of time till he's up to.
Only a matter of time, and boy, I want a big body like that. I cannot wait to see what he's able to do.
But
you give him a couple years, he could be a good power forward.
It
for this
just
team.
worries me with the way they are playing their prospects right now that maybe he's better suited off down there right now.
Oh boy,
because there's only enough space for a couple people to be benched.
So Matt, are there any positives?
Yeah. There's a few.
Okay, I want to hear yours first because I've done a lot of rambling and ranting.
Yeah, no, Saros looks great. His usual cold start where he lets in a couple garbage goals like each game for the first couple weeks kind of looks like it's past him. I don't know if that's a mental thing with him just being like, all right, this is my crease. I don't care. I'll do what I want and I'll just play fantastic. It almost feels like he's playing again with no pressure like he was last year down the stretch. It was just, I am the man now. I've stole this from everybody. I will continue to go. Minus, Tolvanen is still a bright spot. He is shooting the puck. He is shooting the puck like a madman, which is what I love to see. A lot of shot props, by the way, have him at 1.5, which is ridiculous. Hammer the over on that. Saros and Tolvanen have been my bright spots. Tolvi looks like he belongs in this league. It's not a question of was he called up too early last year or anything like that. It's just he's a full-time NHLer. He's a bona fide NHLer that I don't think is going to experience a huge sophomore slump.
All right, yeah. Saros would be a bright spot for me as well. And penalty kill has overall looked pretty decent. Power play, tiny bit better. It's not bottom of the league right now. It looks like they're trying to be a little more creative and doing some cross-ice passes. I like when I have seen some good pressure that they're not just always whipping it around. I know heat maps will say otherwise, but overall, they're trying to pass, but a lot of these passes are going into the boards.
Yeah.
So you see, that's for the chemistry. You keep changing up the chemistry, they're not going to be able to get it together. So you can see there's right thought processes going on, but they don't have the chemistry yet to know my teammate's going to be right here because that's where they're going to be because I know they're going to be there.
And it's not
it's
like
going to take time to do that.
We're not asking for like half a season of the same lines. Give them like 6 games together plus the practices. Yeah. That's all we really need here. And you will build the chemistry off that. Like we're not asking for a 10-15 game waiting period.
No. So I think it's with anything, I don't want to be the person that is, well, you can't even say anything positive, which I don't think anybody's going to complain to me about me complaining. Most people tend to enjoy frustrated Bradford on stuff.
I do.
But I will try to find silver linings as well because you have to find silver linings when the team's going to be a little frustrating to watch because you have to hopefully understand what the process means. The process should mean that they should be better when the youth is able to grow into their positions. That's what the hope is when a team is going through it. But management has to make the proper decisions in terms of prospect management in order for that to happen. That's where the questions come in a lot of times with that. Now, here's hoping that maybe with Scott Nickel, with a bigger position too, general manager of the Milwaukee Admirals and now also an assistant general manager, can play a role because obviously you have 3 assistant general managers now with the Preds, one of them being also the head of scouting, other one being the head of player development, that you get some of those guys that will hopefully put an ear or get in David Pold's ear about some decisions and everything too. So that's the hope there.
Okay, now we picked out our positives. What is one negative that we haven't discussed yet?
One negative that
because I have one if you want time to think.
I do need time to think.
Okay.
Go for it.
The one negative that usually I gave John Hynes a lot of credit last year for his ability to coach on the fly. It feels like he got space jammed and he does not know how to do that anymore, because it used to be the Preds would take one period off last year, and it was usually the first period and usually the second period. This year, first period starts look pretty good, and like they can usually stand the whole period. The second period this year, I don't understand what's going on. It almost feels like the first 2 minutes is a continuation of the first period, which is fine, and then the opposing coach does something, and John Hynes freaks the hell out and has no idea how to manage it and just goes, dump and chase. And that's it. Like, I don't understand why the in-game adjustments are taking so long. Like, a full period, does he go back into the dressing room after the second period and go, boys, what do we do? Like, as the head coach of an NHL team, you got to figure it out on the fly. You got to go and you got to make sure your team isn't sitting around for like 20 minutes of just not looking like a good hockey team. And it might come from a fluky goal some nights that you have on your 10 seconds of offensive zone time, and then you turn it around. But more often than not, John Hynes has to figure it out and figure out a way to create offensive pressure with these kids and just control the puck. Because I couldn't tell you how many times watching this game against the Rangers where I'd be looking at my one screen doing work, and then I'd look over and be like, Rangers have the puck again. And I just look over, Rangers have the puck again. I
actually won 55% of their faceoffs too, so they had opportunities to keep possession.
It's meddling. It's kind of weird and confusing how there are no in-game adjustments in like the second period specifically.
Well, I did think of another positive.
Okay.
And that would be video coach Lawrence Filoni and video coordinator Andrew Maloche. Because yet again, they were able to challenge a goal for being offside, and they were correct.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe, and this is not me exaggerating, because I saw others tweeting about it too. I don't believe this Lawrence Filoni as the video coach. I don't believe he's ever lost a challenge for offside.
Wow. Maybe that's because he doesn't challenge close ones.
Well, it's one of those things too that they're very good at making decisions quickly, and it happens maybe 2 or 3 times a season. So not all that often, but when they make the call, they make the call and they make the right one.
Yeah.
And it should have been a momentum swing, but then the Rangers tallied one of their own again. But props to them for just continuing to be on top of things and making those decisions to keep the team in the game because the opportunity's there for you to challenge the damn goal. If you know that it's offside. And the thing is, with how fast the game is, it is difficult. I mean, it's obvious when you watch things in slow-mo, but in the heat of the game, the speed of it, obviously not obvious.
Yeah.
So I honestly can't think of another negative aside from all the things that I just bleh out at the beginning.
I just more or less wanted to moan about
I know
the poor game calling pretty much.
So we should move on to fun stuff now.
I like fun stuff.
Okay, I have things to show you.
Yeah, you wouldn't show me before the show, so.
Well, no, because I want you to be surprised. So I've been looking for this for a while because when I went to Disney World, not my pee-pee.
And I found it. It's been here the whole time.
The whole time? If you get that reference that I just made, folks, what movie and what actor that I miss dearly, please let me know. So I've been looking for this in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It was not in stock. They didn't have any of these in stock when we went back in August. And it is a Sith Wayfinder.
Move it to your left. Yeah.
I forgot I got to cover my face. It's a Sith Wayfinder. Make sure you're watching this and going to this point.
Oh. I'm going to watch on my other screen because it's a lot bigger. But you're framed up, don't worry.
So what you do when you have it turned on, you can hear this, right?
Oh, yeah. Don't you worry. It's getting picked up.
Okay. You put in your Kyber crystal.
Yeah.
And then it's going to talk. Hold on. Damn it! Why is it not talking to me? I have to press it the right way.
Yeah, you do.
I doubt that you comprehend the power that is within your grasp.
That's pretty cool. Okay, that was worth it.
Yeah.
That was worth it.
It's pretty cool. So
I
now,
think the temper tantrum was a little funnier, though.
What'll happen too is I can put this on top of my Jedi holocron, and it'll also have special messages when you get them together.
Do you have a Jedi holocron?
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's the square one. You put your kyber crystals in that one that are Jedi crystals, and those have messages. But if you put the red one and the Jedi one, you get Yoda chastising you for going to the way of the dark side.
That's cool.
So it is pretty cool. I had not known what my red kyber crystal says because it will not read it in the Jedi holocron. You have to put it in the Sith Wayfinder to know.
So how long have you been sitting
Sith
on it?
I've been sitting on one kyber crystal, red one. I have 2 other ones I need to test. But I've been sitting on one red one now since January 2020.
Oh my god, so this was great for you.
Yes, that was the first time I ever heard it too.
I'm amazed you didn't record it. I would have loved to see your first reaction to it.
Well, no, this was the first time.
Oh,
right now,
it was?
live. That's my first time.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
wanna
That's why
see
you were so upset when it didn't work. Now I
I was saving it for you.
Oh, thanks, sweetie.
Saving all my crystals for you.
That's cool. I like that. What else did you get?
Another thing, because Disney take my money, is I only thought this was available at Epcot because the new ride that opened, Ratatouille, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, it is. And so if you do not know
Fuck you, I want that.
what this toy does, and see, it even says
That's so
Epcot.
cool. I love
But
Remy
I got this
so
in
much.
California, and I freaked out when I saw it because I was like, what? And the cast member was like, yeah, why are you surprised? Because I thought it was only available in Epcot, dude. He goes, oh, yeah, we're the only store in all of Disneyland that has it.
That's so what does it
California
do?
Adventure. So you put this on your clothes, and it uses magnets, and it crawls on you. That's a remote control. That piece of cheese is a remote control.
Oh my god.
So it'll go up and down your shirt, whatever, and everything, and crawl on you.
That's so I got the Porg that's the magnet that sits on your
Yeah.
shoulder, but
this
that
will
one
move.
moves, and I love Remy so much more than I love Porgs. Like Remy's one of my favorite all-time Disney characters.
I think we all know that.
Oh, I'm pretty jealous by a lot of your stuff, but I think that one takes the cake.
Had I had more room in my luggage because I didn't check anything, I would have bought you one.
That is smart. I'll just make my way out
But-
there eventually.
Either California or Disney World will have it.
Yeah, I missed it
So-
at Disney World because it wasn't open yet.
Right. Well, the merch just got released weeks ago.
And I can't buy this online, can I?
I don't believe so.
Shit. How about eBay? eBay.
Oh my gosh.
Remote control Remy.
Well, they even have the chef's hats that have the shadow of Remy inside of it.
Yeah. $65.
What did I pay? I paid $35.
This one is 30 with 0 bids. This one's buy now 65.
And let me say this too. What was neat about it is, so I go to check out, and the cast member asks, "So, do you have any discounts with us?" I was like, "Well, I just registered for D23, which is a Disney corporate type of membership where it's you get this nice pack of all these different collectibles and everything too, but you get access to a lot of virtual events and stuff with animators and when they release different things and shows and stuff. So it's more on the corporate side of things of media. So I really like that." And I said, "Well, I'm a D23 member." She's like, "I don't know what that is, but I believe you." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I can bring up the email. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to get a discount without." She's like, "It's okay. I'll go ahead and put it in. I got 10% off."
That's pretty good.
I was like, okay, then
wait.
I'll still bring up the email. I was like, I just wanted to show you. See, it has your logo and everything on it.
I'm not
Disney,
scamming.
D23. She goes, okay, I believe you. It's okay, sir.
It's the happiest people in the world. Did you not tell them it was your birthday?
I forgot to get a button because we were in such a rush. But yeah, that's a little pixie dust for me.
That's pretty awesome. I'm pretty jealous of
It
your
was
trip.
awesome.
I feel like you maximize. Is there anything that you missed?
I mean, there's some things that we definitely missed, but nothing that we absolutely wanted to do. That was
Nice.
the key. We did everything we wanted to do in one day with Disney California Adventure and Disneyland Park, and even saw someone from Nashville there too.
Like purely
When we're
coincidental?
Yeah, his family traveled out there because of cheap flights just like us, and saw him at Rope Drop when you're getting ready to go to Cars Land, which I will say, folks, if you have never been to Disneyland, yes, Marvel's Avengers Campus is really cool. It's neat. But Cars Land is where I'd want to spend hours.
I'm looking at Disneyland's website now
Because Cars Land is ultimate themed. You are walking down the street that is downtown Radiator Springs, and everything's in the right spot. Everything. is in the right spot. All the shops. You even have Stanley at the very end with the little water fountain, with the fire station. It is perfect in every single way. I cannot stress that enough. How awesome Cars Land is with the music playing, and it is fantastic with what is going on at Cars Land. That is worth everything. They also have some really good drinks and some really good food there. But yeah, Cars Land is what makes California Adventure right now. Marvel, I think, once they get a new ride open aside from Web Slingers, will be a nice place, but a lot of it seems squished in, a little bit of pinch points there in Avengers Campus. But Cars Land is very wide open, and they even have the cars like to do photo ops. They're driving down the street.
That's cool. I like that.
Talking, their eyes are moving and everything, and you can have photo ops. And since it was Halloween, you had Lightning McQueen dressed as a superhero, and you had Tow Mater dressed as Dracula. We got a picture with Tow Mater.
I hate you that you were able to do that. Okay, I want to do a little experiment here.
Oh, no.
How much did you pay for a ticket, round trip?
Round trip, the flight was, I think it was $140.
And you went on a Friday until the Sunday, right?
No, Saturday to Monday, and we only went to the park on Sunday.
Okay, the cheapest Saturday to Monday trip from Toronto to LA.
Oh, boy.
Between now and, let's say, the end of January.
Oh, boy.
Round trip, and you're picking the shittiest flights, is 422 Canadian.
I mean, you are crossing a border.
Okay, let me do Buffalo and still cry my eyes out.
Okay, let's see. I'm curious if there is a difference. I really am. Now, what are you searching on?
Expedia.
Dude.
Well, I mean, it compiles all the prices.
But they're not real prices because Expedia has to make money too. How many times
give me an airline.
Go to southwest.com. I mean, it's a cheaper flight, but at least it's not like Spirit.
I love getting you riled up about my love for Expedia.
Because how do you think Expedia makes money?
Yeah, I know, but I have enough points to offset that.
Hey, you've got to stop using third-party sites.
Yeah, but you know how much cheaper it is when I book together on Expedia? But it
isn't truly cheaper.
But I looked it up for this Nashville trip that I'm going on for the Stadium Series, and it is cheaper.
You are going to get burned, and then you'll just write it off forever. You're going to get burned one time when you go into an expensive event
where
there's no other hotels. Hotels will sell your room even if you have it booked, because they'll sell it to someone that books through their website over Expedia, and they'll be like, sorry, in the small print it says it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, but I've used it for like the last 6 years, and I haven't.
I can tell by the tone in your voice that you know I'm right, and you're just kind of playing
yeah,
the
but
right now because you love
lottery.
betting. You love betting, so you're like, I'll take my risk.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't love betting.
What is it from Buffalo to LAX?
Hold on. Let me
on Southwest.com.
The cheapest getaway flight for that weekend. I did a random Saturday to Monday, mid-November, so there's really nothing. 154 that way, and the cheapest one coming back is 212. Continue. That comes to 365.27 USD to CAD. What did I just say? How much is it? 365. That's 451 Canadian.
Yeah, so it's better out of Toronto.
Yeah.
I bet why too is because it's a popular flight to go to Southern California, I would assume.
Oh yeah, our most popular flights are Toronto to
Florida.
California and Toronto to Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense why it'd be cheap. There's more demand for it. But here we did the trip, cheap round trip flight. The hotel was fully covered with points. We stayed 10 minutes from the park.
We love points.
Yeah, but this were Marriott points. So
we love legit points.
Yeah, and the park was obviously the most expensive thing. So it was a Category 5 day. If you know what that means. It's a premium day because it's holiday season for Halloween. So the park tickets for the two of us for one day with park hoppers, so we could go to both, $418.
Holy shit! What the hell?
That's why it's like the only reason we're doing this because the flights are cheap and the hotel's free.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to.
That's the only reason we went.
It's still pretty worth it. Your vacation was still pretty cheap overall.
Oh, I mean, yeah, when you think about going cross country, getting all that experience, and the way we killed it at Disneyland, we did so much.
I don't even want to talk about how much this stupid weekend in February is going to cost me.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
It'll make me incredibly sad.
But yeah, we did a lot, man. We did a lot. Got to do Haunted Mansion with the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay,
That's cool.
which is really cool. Then let's see, did Jungle Cruise at 10:57 p.m. right before the park closed.
Was it a nice night out that you could see things?
Oh,
or
dude. So I was watching the temperature before the trip, and on Saturday it was 91 degrees.
holy
like, oh, boy.
God.
On Sunday, a front came through Saturday evening. On Sunday, the hottest it got that day was 75.
That's beautiful. That's
And so when
great
the sun
walking
went
around
down,
weather.
yeah. When the sun went down, it was in the 60s. It was actually chilly. Alex had to put on a sweatshirt
Yeah,
and everything. But Jungle Cruise at night was awesome. It was a beautiful night. The clouds started coming in a little bit later with the moon, so it was just beautiful. A moonlit night there at Disney. And then obviously a lot of the locals went home early, so the park was pretty empty by the time that we were leaving there. But the cool thing about Disneyland, it was open at 8 a.m. and closed at 11 p.m. And we did it. We arrived at 7 a.m.
That's pretty wild. What time does Disney World open? It's earlier than that.
I think Magic Kingdom has been lately 9 a.m.
Disney
and
World
closing
open.
and closing at 10.
Yeah, I remember showing up to Disney World when it was still dark over Christmas.
Yeah, Magic Kingdom is interesting with their hours. Animal Kingdom is like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. typically. Epcot stays open the latest.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember like waking up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning to go to Disney. I was like, this is
dude.
kind of dumb. All right, most important question for your trip.
Yeah.
What was the best food you ate?
So what I really enjoyed was there was the Cozy Cone macaron, and this was a huge macaron in Cars Land, but it was filled with a chocolate fudge with a peanut butter cream inside of that and pretzel bits.
That's a lot of thick viscous items.
Yes, it was delicious. And then we had to have the hand dipped corn dog, but also the hand dipped cheese. So they basically take a cheese stick, and this was a seasonal one, a pepper jack stick of cheese, dipped like a corn dog and fried, then topped with a blueberry jam and flaming hot Cheetos.
Oh, you lost me.
No, dude, it was delicious.
That's so many different weird flavors.
No,
someone who is super drunk made that up.
No. Think about it on a charcuterie board.
Yeah, but
okay.
I don't
think about it. You have spicy and jelly.
Yeah, but do you ram all the foods in your mouth at once?
You typically put a spicy jam on top of cheese.
I just feel like the Cheetos is.
It was a sprinkle of a dusting.
Oh, I thought it was like coated.
No.
Okay.
It was not like a Korean corn dog.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about. I was like, that's kind of disgusting.
No, and then plenty of good drinks. There are some good drinks in the Marvel area. Really good cream puff. There was the orb by Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which is pretty awesome. Let's see, Disneyland had Blue Bayou, which is the restaurant located inside the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. And so we are at a table that is right next to the people, and we're waving to them as they're getting ready to enter the ride on the boat.
Oh, that's nice. Did you wave the whole time?
Not the whole time, but parts of the time.
That's cool. I like that.
So it was really fun ambiance there. And yeah, it's a fun trip, and there's just something different about Disneyland, folks. If you know, then you definitely know there's just something different about Disneyland compared to World. It seemed happier there. I think there's less stress. There's only 2 parks. They're right next to each other. It's one of those things that it's not your entire vacation typically. Like Disney World is your entire vacation that you're spending a ton of money on, thousands of dollars. So the stress is a little bit higher. So there's just something different about it. Plus, it's the place that Walt built. I mean, Walt lived there. It's pretty cool for the history purposes.
I did Disneyland when I was 7 or 8, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, 8 sounds right. And then I did Disney World for the first time as an adult.
Right.
And I was like, I love Disney World. So I feel like if I can go to Disneyland and not have it take up my whole trip, because I like doing other stuff, like just not all Disney all the time, I think I'd probably enjoy that a bit more. Plus, it sounds a lot less busy.
And it depends on when you go. But I think, too, there are even more locals, but the locals are a little more chill about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't recognize as many content creators. Like in Orlando, there's a lot of people that moved to Orlando. Nothing against them. That's by all means fine. But there's a lot of people that moved to Orlando to be content creators in Disney. Whereas in LA, it's a huge city on its own, that entire area. And there are definitely a lot of locals. that were there, and not. I mean, there are plenty of tourists, of course, too, but there was a lot of locals that go to Disneyland, and it's just neat because how much Anaheim built up around that.
Yeah, like I'm on Google Maps right now looking at it. It's kind of cool to see where Disneyland is on a map.
Yeah, and that was in Orange Grove.
Yeah, and it's like smack dab next to the highway. Like it's
pretty
cool. Whereas like Disney World is next to the highway, but you take the highway exit and it's like its own little.
It's a compound.
Yeah, right. Like for this is just you're off, you're there, is what it looks like.
I mean, you're right there in the mix of things because they built up everything around it. That's why the fireworks show's at 9:00, even though the place shuts down at 11, probably because of locals that live right across the street from it.
Yeah, like I can see the subdivisions all around it.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So and then you have the duck pond just down the street and Angel Stadium just down the street.
Yeah,
as well.
I need to get there in my life.
Yeah, so it's neat. It's neat where it is. Now, granted, people are probably asking, why'd you fly into LAX? You could have flew into John Wayne. Well, yeah, flying into John Wayne was a $350 round trip. LAX was a $140 round trip.
And LAX is a pretty nice airport.
I was surprised with the Southwest Terminal, especially for it being an American hub. The Southwest Terminal was pretty nice.
Nice. The international terminal at LAX is really nice.
Good to know. But I will say this, though. Where the rental cars are off-site, a little sketch.
Yep. I remember that.
A little sketch.
Yeah.
So, well, folks, thanks for tuning into Disney Chat.
I have one more thing
Justin
for
and Matt.
you.
Yeah, what's up?
I have a crippling addiction.
Uh-oh.
I've recently discovered that I love warmed-up queso cheese.
How do you just discover that?
Because I didn't have, I live in Canada. Queso cheese is not really a thing up here. Our queso cheese is the Tostitos in a jar shit.
I literally had chips and queso today with lunch because I had a Michelin-style burrito.
If you go out
taco joint.
If you go out to like a taco joint here, it's like you can get chips and guac or chips and salsa. Chips and queso is not a thing. So backstory is I went to a wedding.
Oh my god.
A month ago. Around a month ago, and they had queso cheese in a crock pot. I was intoxicated and sat next to the crock pot with a plate and just kept filling my plate with queso cheese for honest to God, no exaggeration, close to an hour.
Did you poop?
The next day, yes, it was great. So I went home and I was like, queso is really good. I haven't had queso in a long time. And that was legit queso, Mexican queso. It wasn't the Tostitos stuff. So I found that out at a later date, by the way. Thought it was warmed up Tostitos, nacho cheese. Wasn't.
Oh God!
Bless. So I've been eating jars of warmed up Tostitos nacho cheese for the last couple weeks, and it's a problem. I've got my bags ready for later.
Y'all, we've got to help him.
Give me good queso cheese.
So I mean, I know you're not gonna be down here for very long. But I mean, Mexican restaurants are a dime a dozen down here.
What do you mean they're not? Fat bastard burrito boys.
No, I'm talking
burrito.
about Mexican restaurants owned by Mexicans. Just in my city of Bellevue, Tennessee, which is just a suburb of Nashville, there are literally 7 Mexican restaurants.
Yeah, I see. No, that's not a thing here.
We're talking.
If I go to Toronto, sure, but I'm not driving over an hour to go to.
We are talking within a radius of, if you put a pin down and you stretched it out 3 miles in any direction, you would find a Mexican restaurant at almost any spot.
That doesn't everything here is want to try this Mexican food from this super bland chain restaurant? That's what I have. So now, I get super excited when I have warmed up queso cheese.
Now,
I don't do copious amounts of drugs to make me want this.
No, I assume for you though, you could have damn good Asian food the same way we can have Mexican food.
Not where I am.
Okay, in Toronto.
Dude, I live in the most.
Okay, but I'm talking about Toronto.
City.
Talking about Toronto.
Toronto, I could have everything.
Even good Mexican food?
Yes, but not as frequent as you have it around you.
But it would be way better Asian food, no doubt.
Yes.
Just the population's there.
Yes.
That's why it's good here. You eat good Mexican food because they're here. The culture's here.
The city I live in. Jesus, I'm trying to think of a mom and pop restaurant that actually is pretty good for a different kind of cuisine. I can't think of many. If any of my buddies who live in the city with me can think of one, then let me know. Also, a Chick-fil-A opened up not near my house. It's 45 minutes away. It's the second one in Canada. And
wow.
the drive-through lineup, I wish I took a picture.
I can imagine.
was I went to go see the James Bond movie and went to Chick-fil-A after. The drive-thru lineup was maybe 15 to 20 cars long, and it stretched across a parking lot. But I'll give them credit. We were only in the drive-thru for about 15 minutes, which is pretty damn good. And I do love me some Chick-fil-A. Not as much as... No, I like Chick-fil-A more than I like queso.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, we're going to have to introduce him to some actual queso, folks. All right.
Down.
Well, thanks for tuning in to Disappointed Bradford and Cheesy Best.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks. He is at Best of Matt. I am at Justin B. Bradford. Also, Triple P Podcast _. As always, we appreciate you tuning in and listening. We're going to be recording again Sunday because the Preds have a back-to-back. And good time to record would be Sunday after 2 more games. We'll see what happens with the line blender. You listen to Triple P Podcast, part of the Penalty Box Radio Network.
I knew you were going to... I feel like you were going to segue into something that wasn't our brand for a second.
Bye.
Welcome to the Triple P Podcast, Preds, Pucks, Pinoys, hosted by Justin Bradford and Matt Best.